And here we go. Here we go on this beautiful Monday evening in the city. It's 6 o'clock straight up, which means it's time for Real Talk Memphis. Welcome in, everybody. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. Very happy to be here and very happy to have you with us as well. I hope that you all had a wonderful Easter holiday yesterday with family and friends. And, we get up this morning and it's a nice day and we're starting out weather-wise in good shape, temperatures in the 70s. We're going to be in the 70s, mid-70s, maybe even close to 80 by the time Friday gets here. So we hope that you get out and enjoy it. There has been quite a bit of news, and one particular story has dominated all of the national news outlets ever since last Thursday when we saw two legislators expelled from the Tennessee State House. More on that in just a minute. But before we get moving here, for all of you who are curious as to finding us and how to get this fine piece of radio broadcasting, well, it's relatively simple. We are on 91.7 FM live right now, so you can check us out there. We're also on the WYXR app. You can catch us on the TuneIn app. We are also on Facebook Live, and when the show is posted tomorrow, you can catch us on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast, okay? Don't forget that. And by the way, in terms of the podcast deal, download these shows. They're not bad. Actually, I listen to them, every when I get a chance to do it post-show. Not bad. Download the show. Go to your favorite podcast platform. Listen to it, download it, and then tell somebody about it. How about that? Okay. So we have a good show for you tonight. We're going to talk about the first half of the show is going to be dedicated to what happened last Thursday, an unprecedented move that the Tennessee House took by initially having three individuals up for expulsion, but the two of those individuals were actually expelled. Justin Pearson from Shelby County, of course, Justin Jones from Nashville, and State Rep Gloria Johnson from Knoxville were all up for expulsion. And when the vote was all said and done, Gloria Johnson held her seat by one vote, just one. The two young black legislators were expelled. Why? Because they wanted to protest along with the protesters who were sick and tired of people getting slaughtered by gun violence. And they want some sort of legislation taken up by those folks using them chairs up there for whatever reason, but not passing meaningful gun legislation. As they were making their case, their mics were turned off. Maybe because of the way they were approaching, maybe because of the way they were speaking, but no one could hear them. Then they got a bullhorn and they started to make their point that way. Of course, there were protesters in the lobby as well. But after that, oh boy, I tell you, Cameron Sexton thought this was like the worst thing ever. And we're going to put you up for expulsion for using the voice that you were elected to use by your constituents in your districts. And because they didn't like the way you did it, they decided that you no longer fit in to that house, sanctimonious sanctuary. Now, I'm not going to get too exercised because I've gotten exercised enough about this since last Thursday. But of course, it has once again put the state of Tennessee in a very bad light. And nationally, this has been the top story, all over the country. Well, let's just fast forward to what happens after you get expelled. Well, there's an opportunity for your local municipality to, by vote, have you reinstated. So in Nashville this afternoon, their Metro City Council met about 4:30, and by about 4:40 or 4:45, Justin Jones was sent back to the State House. I guess there's like 40 members of that legislative committee up there, the Metro City Council, and 36 out of 40 said, go back across the street or wherever it was and resume your seat. So Justin Jones is back. So now we have to wait and see what happens with Justin J. Pearson. The county commission is going to have to make the determination whether to reappoint him or not. And then eventually, both of them are going to have to, since they were initially expelled, have to go for a special election to once again go through the process that they already went through. By expelling those two, there was over 100,000 constituents without a voice for the past several days. So, again, the county commission is going to meet, I believe, Thursday to talk about all of this and try to get him reinstated back into his rightful place in the legislature. To talk about this tonight, State Representative Joe Towns is supposed to call me to check in here in just a few minutes. Now, they are in session right now. The House is in session. But he said that he would take a few minutes to kind of walk us through. He was in the House when this unprecedented event happened, and he is going to talk to us about it and kind of where things are and where things are going from here. There's also been some conversation, or was some conversation, that the House might not take up the budget concerns of Shelby County, some $350 million rather, for improvements to the FedEx Forum, football stadium, and a lot of other things that are part of the overall state budget. There was some word that came down last week that if Justin J. Pearson was reinstated, that they might hold that up. But it was said this afternoon by the Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, that he supports that effort. Well, of course he supports the effort. Now, I mean, it's white hot there. There's nothing they can do, right now to make a false move to look like they are negative against the Memphis and Shelby County as they have been in the past. So anyway, State Representative Towns will be joining me in just a couple of minutes. Also, we mentioned the aforementioned county commission. Well, County Commissioner Erika Sugarmon is going to join me in just a few minutes to talk about a couple of issues. And of course, this one will be on the top of the agenda because our city council our county commission has to make a determination as to when a reinstatement vote might happen and then what happens from there. We'll also talk to her about Wanda Halbert, the county clerk, and her newly appointed assistant, Janet Hooks, that was supposed to start today. And in the second half hour of the show, did you know that Memphis is number one in the entire country for predatory payday lending? You know how you go and you need a little quick money, and you go to these loan places and they charge you like 400% interest on what you borrow, so you can never pay it back. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that. There's a gentleman who has a program called Forward Memphis. His name is Travis Moody, and he will join me in the second half hour of the show. But before we move any further, this is the time of the broadcast that we shout you out. This is the time that if you celebrated a birthday, or you had one over the weekend, or you had one today, or you have one this week, this is your time to shine as we shout you out for your current trip around the sun. And as Lola prepares to take her place, I can't do any of this without saying, hit it, Bren. All right. Happy birthday is going out to Evangeline Turner. Annette Fair is celebrating her birthday today. Happy birthday to Sheila Robinson Beasley, to Sherry McGlown. Happy birthday to Bishop A.R. Moulton. Michael Smith, happy birthday to you. Vivian Burrow celebrating today, as is Valerie Collins and Rufus Bill Smith. And Lola.
Yes, a very happy birthday to my niece Amber, and a very, very special happy birthday on this Friday, a happy 18th, to my very own Miss Addison Carruthers.
Addison, that's our girl, ladies and gentlemen. That's Lola's daughter, and she pops in every now and again. When she's not taking a nap during this time of evening, she pops in every now and again to visit us and spend time with us. Happy birthday. It's coming up when, Friday? Well, happy upcoming birthday to you, Addison. She is a senior, a graduating senior. What school she go to? Whitehaven? Coming out of Whitehaven High School, class of 2023. Listen, to each and every one of you, happy birthday. I hope that this day was filled with fun and laughter, and we look forward to checking you out next year for your next trip around the sun. Thank you, Brent. And I'm watching like 2 or 3 things here at one time here, making sure I'm as timely as I could possibly be. But as we discussed, the big story, of course, is what happened when our 2 legislators were unceremoniously expelled for using the voice that they were sent to Nashville to use by folks in there who didn't particularly like the way they were expressing their opinion, so to speak. And as I said this afternoon, the Metro Council in Nashville met, and they voted unanimously to reinstate Justin Jones back to his seat. But and we're waiting to see what happens with Justin J. Pearson. There's a lot of troubling issues that surround this. A lot of this smacks of racism. You get 2 blacks and 1 female, and the female barely held her seat. And all of this over basically nothing. There have been people that have done much worse in that legislative body that a lot of those long-timers will tell you about if they were telling the truth. But to take an issue like this, as minuscule and as minor as it is and as it was, and to blow it up to all kind of proportion was completely and totally unnecessary. And you knew it was coming because they were trying to make a point. Now, what I want to see is what happens moving forward. They're back. Are they going to put them on committees? Are they going to just keep them off of committees? Are they going to have a chance to weigh in on some of the important issues that are facing all of us as Tennesseans? What kind of satisfaction are they going to give folks who are tired of the gun violence that we see not only in our city and our state, but in our country? And speaking of, there was another mass shooting event this morning. It was in Louisville, Kentucky. It was at a local bank. Apparently an employee, or maybe soon to be an ex-employee, 23 years old, walked in the bank, opened fire, killing 4 people, wounding 9 other people. Law enforcement took him out. And again, apparently this individual live streamed his work as he walked in and started gunning folks down. The governor of the state of Kentucky was very, very upset because 1 or 2 of those individuals that were killed were very close friends of his. And also among the wounded is a law enforcement officer, 26 years of age. He just graduated from the police academy less than 2 weeks ago. And he responded to the scene. He was shot in the head. Right now, according to the police chief, he has come through surgery. He is in critical but stable condition. We, of course, send our prayers to all of those who are once again affected by this gun violence episode that we have seen and that we continue to see. Of course, last Friday, the Vice President of the United States flew down to Nashville to have a bit of a rally, if you will, at Fisk University and meet as they were so dubbed, the Tennessee Three, to meet with them. And of course, the president also weighed in. He checked in and spoke with the aforementioned individuals in question, and showed his support and said he was going to bring them to the White House. Now, of course, this is all well and good, and this is all fine. It's a sad commentary that it takes this type of a demonstration by folks who clearly have power issues up in Nashville to get this type of attention. But let's keep a very close watch on this because just because they're back or they may be back, we don't know how they're going to be treated when they come back, or how they're going to respond to various challenges that may come their way. Many people liken Justin J. Pearson and Justin Johnson as I'm Justin Jones, excuse me, as sort of like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, kind of in their approach. Of course, Justin J. Pearson, he wears his hair in an afro, And he comes across as, kind of a militant, guy, but he's very, very smart. He's very intelligent. He's very, when he speaks, he just has a certain tone and a resonance and a passion to him. He's been on this show at least twice, maybe 3 times. And as I remember correctly, the last time he was on this show, that was when he announced that he was running for the late Barbara Cooper's seat in District 86. And of course, he won that going away. Anyway, that is kind of where we are with that. I do have, one issue in terms of the exposure of this event. It has taken on its own national voice and national relevance, and it's been all over, all of the national news platforms, all of the network newscasts and everything like that. I have been trying to get a hold of these individuals, particularly Justin Pearson, for the past several days. I know it's been pretty busy, but all I can say is to the folks who are handling these individuals in their media and things like that, let us not forget about the home team. Justin Pearson is a representative of Shelby County, Tennessee, of which Memphis is a part of. They should be made available to those of us locally, who might want to hear about what his concerns are and how he's feeling about things. I realize it's a busy time. I realize, like I said, everybody's throwing mics in their face from all over and everything else. But let us try to remember that he represents Shelby County, and he represents about 76,000 people here. So it would be nice if some of the local media in town was able to grab him for a few minutes as well. Now look, this this is me. All right, I have to say what I think, because it's important. I mean, he represents this community. So this community should have, a first opportunity to be able to have a chance to really sit down and talk with him instead of talking with other people who were around him or surrounding him, or like who were in the Capitol that day when all this went on, which their voice is important, but his voice is the most important. So who's ever listening to this right now, if anybody's listening to it, who has, any reference to his camp, so to speak, you might want to pass that message on. Oh, by the way, they both have retained legal counsel. From what I am able to ascertain, they both have a legal representation. Now, I guess my question is, if they get reinstated back in their positions within the structure of the state house, what is why do we need, legal representation? Because this is about being removed from a seat that you were elected to and being put back in the seat that you were elected for. So anyway, I don't know everything, and I'll just have to kind of sit back and wait and see how all of this breaks down. So I talked about the terrible incident in Louisville, Kentucky today. In some lighter news, I'll just say that your Memphis Grizzlies are about to be in the playoffs. The basketball season, the regular season, is basically over now. There's a couple of play-in games, one of which does involve the Grizzlies between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Los Angeles Lakers. So whoever wins that game tomorrow night will be the play-in game, and that will be who the Grizzlies will play on Sunday. If you remember last year, they played the Minnesota Timberwolves, and that was a very contentious series that the Grizzlies ended up winning. So we shall see what happens with these play-in games, and finally see the Grizzlies have about a week off to rest up, and I believe their first game in the playoff series is Sunday. So just as I sort of kind of thought, I don't know if Joe is going to be with me or not tonight because of the busyness of the house. So what I'm going to do, Brent, is we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to commercial break, and we're going to wait and see if Joe does check in, and if he doesn't, we will carry on this fine piece of radio broadcasting on this beautiful Monday evening. I am Chip. This is Real Talk Memphis. You know who you are. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest? Or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by the Orpheum Theater Group, presenting summer camps. Whether your child loves the spotlight or thrives in camaraderie and creativity that theater provides, the Orpheum has a way for them to shine this summer. Orpheum summer camps include Arts Explore, Camp Collaborate, Story Lab, and more for grades 3 through 12 and recent high school graduates. More information at orpheum-memphis.com/camps.
WYXR is supported by the Onstage at the Halloran Center 2022-2023 season, which continues in downtown Memphis. Experience live entertainment with music, magic, and more, including the return of Orchestra Unplugged and the Songwriter Series events. More information and the full lineup at orpheum-memphis.com/onstage.
Hey, I'm Will from Crosstown Brewing Company. We support WYXR 91.7 FM. A favorite beer is just like a favorite song. We feel something new every time we encounter them. Cheers to playing the hits and tasting the notes.
Hello, Memphis. Urban Earth is a proud supporter of WYXR 91.7 FM. On Saturday, April 29th, Urban Earth is hosting our annual Flicker Fest, which will feature live music by Jeff Hewlett and Devil Train. We'll also have multiple food trucks, beer from Crosstown Brewery, and activities for kids and adults alike. The festival will be held at 80 Flicker Street under the Union Avenue Viaduct in Midtown. More information at urbanearthmemphis.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Chip here, and of course we're waiting for our guest. Now, to be honest, even though I did talk to Joe Towns earlier today, and he said he would try to join me. The session kicked up again this evening at 5:00, and I know it's generally a busy time, and I would imagine that now that one of the Tennessee 3 has been reinstated. Maybe there's some excitement surrounding that, but that's okay because I look up on the screen and I do see that I had trying to figure out which guest that is. It is there. Okay, so we're going to move ahead and we're going to talk a little bit about this with our county commissioner. She is Erika Sugarmon, and of course now that our friend in Nashville was reinstated. We were all wondering about what is going to happen with Justin J. Pearson. And again, to talk to us about it during a very busy time is County Commissioner Erika Sugarmon. Erika, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I got you great. It's great to see you again, and thanks for coming on the show. There's a lot to talk about, but I guess first things first, what was your initial reaction when you found out what the State House did to our elected officials last Thursday?
I was not surprised. They're bullies. This is saying that they're bullies. They've been bullying Shelby County as well as Davidson County for years. As soon as, for example, we passed the ordinance for reparations before the ink could even dry, they passed a law stating we could not use state money for the reparations. And so they're watching us. And so, again, I'm not surprised how brazen they are. And it's going to get worse because they can do it. They're not going to do the right thing. And so we have to hold them accountable. And that just goes to show you the people, voters, have to vote. We have to vote. We cannot be afraid. We got to stand. We've got to stand and fight for what's right.
So now, once all this news broke and really kind of took over the entire consciousness of the country, one of the things that was said, and I believe it was attributed to you initially, is that they meaning the State House, would probably try to hold it against us as they have in the past from the budget perspective. We're looking at $375 million for various projects and things like that. And I don't know if you heard it from someone or you felt it or something, but they started going around that, you know what, since if they had to reinstate these two individuals, in particular Justin Pearson from here, that they would withhold funding. Did I get that correct?
Correct. And the project they're talking about is FedEx Forum. It's $350 million for to renovating FedEx Forum. And so this initiative was established by Mayor Strickland, and he was the one that was calling the chair, trying to have conversations about what they're going to do, rather than sticking up for Memphians and saying, look, we have a deal. You said you're going to give us $350 million for renovations. Mm-hmm. Not only that, they also promised between $350 to $500 million for Regional 1. We have to replace Regional 1. It is a #1 trauma center. Also, the fact that 55 counties out of the 95 used Regional 1. And so the conversations we would have with lawmakers prior to Pearson was, look, we're going to give you all the $350 million for FedEx Forum. Then next year, we'll give you additional money, $350 to $500 million for Regional 1. Now, having said that, we're watching the budget, because if they do, we're going to come back. And we're going to come back even stronger, because they keep taking money away. They don't give us money. For example, I'll give you another example. Mm-hmm. We went to D.C. and we wanted money for broadband. And so the legislators that we spoke with, Kustoff's office, Corn's office, all these different, legislators at the federal level we spoke with. Mm-hmm. And they said, we're going to give Tennessee $1.4 billion for broadband. Guess how much they're giving Davidson County and Shelby County?
How much?
0.
Wow. So we all know, any of us who've been around here for a while, that there is no love lost between the folks up at the State House and Memphis and Shelby County. I mean, this has happened before. $250 million or whatever it was for the bicentennial back in 2018. They for something that happened that went against their will, they withheld that money. So they can clearly do this, and you all are cautiously optimistic in terms of depending on what happens with Justin Pearson, that we won't see a repeat of this?
Well, the whole world is watching. And so what they're doing is giving a playbook for other states to follow, such as Texas and Florida and Mississippi. Now, also recall what they're doing in Mississippi. They have basically starved Jackson of resources and funding for years.
Right.
Trying to help them clean the water. Said, no, that's your responsibility. Then they turn around and say, look, we're going to take you guys over because you don't know how to manage the resources.
Right.
That's the same type of playbook they're trying to play here, starving us of the resources so they can reach and grab the county seats, the city seats, the clerk seats. We know what they're doing, but now that we have a spotlight on what they're doing, they're trying to, bow down and take cover.
Yeah.
Having said that, this all goes back to gerrymandering. It all goes back to gerrymandering. They're going to have to, at the federal level, do something, because it's not just Tennessee. It's where you have strong supermajorities, Republicans, and you have areas like Shelby County and Davis County were blue. They're starving us. It's a tactic, and we're not going to take it anymore. We have these millennials, Gen Zs, who are ready to fight.
Yeah.
And we're here in Shelby County. We're going to support them, and we're going to fight along with them.
So let's talk about what happens next in reference to Justin J. Pearson. You all now are going to be meeting day after tomorrow to talk about some things in reference to it. Exactly, is that going to be setting a vote? Are you going to vote that day? Are you going to discuss it? What's next here?
We're going to vote.
Oh, okay.
We're going to vote.
Okay.
And we expect a large turnout. And we're going to send that young man right back to the state. Mm-hmm. People are saying that at this point, he really, needs to be at a national level. And if y'all heard him speak, oh my God, he's awesome.
Yeah.
And so he's got a very bright future. But right now, we need him here. We need him in Tennessee. So I'm hoping that he'll stay here a little bit longer.
Do you have to have, is it just a majority, Erika, of the board that has to vote in the affirmative? Because I was hearing that there were a couple that were polling earlier, and there were a couple of maybe 2 or 3 that weren't quite sure as to how they were going to vote.
Yes, we have to have a majority. That means 7.
Okay.
And so people have been telling me, we've got our 7, so we're going to see. I think that at this point in time that we all, even the Republicans, if they vote against them, they're voting against the constituents here in Shelby County. And they're just holding the party line. And I'm so sick of it because time and time again, Republicans hurt themselves as well. But I want to be also mindful that we've got over 6,000 emails from people. They're not just Democrats. They're not just Republicans. They're libertarians, everybody from all walks of life saying, support this young man, send him back, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say this real quickly.
Go ahead.
Because in Tennessee, we decided to, I'm not going to say we, the state legislature decided to forego Medicaid expansion because that was initiated by President Obama. And so that's ridiculous because we have so many people that need it here. And as a result of our state legislators not getting Medicaid expansion in the rural areas, we had a lot of hospitals to close down. Mm-hmm. That's how ruthless these individuals are. They're very selfish, very self-centered. They don't care about Republicans, Democrats, libertarians, the working class. They don't care. It's about power and control. Yeah.
I want to shift gears for a minute and talk about a couple of other issues, if I might. One of the biggest is the Shelby County Clerk's Office. And Wanda Halbert, now you all have voted to assign her a special assistant to try to kind of oversee things and maybe help out in some areas that would improve the customer relations aspect of all of this. You've been very outspoken about, this is taking way too long. So what was the thinking behind, having Janet Hooks, be a part of this office? And what are you looking to see with all of this?
Okay, so her role is a special advisor to Clerk Halbert, mm-hmm. so that she can go ahead and open up Riverdale to find a location for Poplar Highland, to open up a place in Germantown and Whitehaven, where places where they have been closed under her watch, to get these lines down so there are no lines. And so we've given her 90 days starting today, because Janet Hooks starts today. Okay. So to be fair to both of them, they have 90 days. So July 10th, if all these things haven't happened, then the commissioners have to reassess the whole situation.
What does that mean when you say we have to reassess? Now, because from what I'm to understand, because she is an elected official, it's going to be very difficult to try to remove her, as one of your colleagues has suggested, and as has been suggested by other people.
Well, there's some colleagues who are grumbling about having the voters decide. In other words, to have a referendum on the October 5th asking for a recall. And a recall is a special election. And then it's only the voters that can take her out, not the commissioners. We can give her the support and everything that she needs. but she's got to also step up to the plate. And we're very hopeful that is what's going to happen, so that the commissioners who are rumbling about doing that will just go ahead and say, well, she's doing what we asked her to do, so, that's fine.
So as we're in budget season now, and I know that you all are pretty busy, about to get busier. What are some of the issues or concerns or other things that you're looking for as this year moves on? Projects and other things that you want to see handled in this particular session?
Well, housing, that's a huge issue. In Shelby County, for the past year or two, there have been 28,000 evictions. In Shelby County schools, there are 2,500 students who are considered homeless, but been identified as being homeless.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so that's a huge issue. And there's a correlation between poverty and crime. So we've got to work on the housing issue. People cannot afford their rents. They're doubling up with family members. Some people are going to shelters, apartments, living in cars. We're in a housing crisis here in Shelby County. And so those are some of the things that we're going to be looking at in our particular districts, as well as crime. In my particular district, I'm focusing on homelessness, as well as job creation, small businesses, economic development, things of that nature. Also, infrastructure. We have some really bad roads in District 12. So those are some of the things that I'm looking at, as well as some of the other commissioners, crime and housing. We're getting ready to open up what's called a housing stability pilot program.
Okay.
And the idea is to help support people who, for example, living in a place where the landlord won't fix the issues, the problems. And so bringing them both into the court, and Judge Henderson will reside and try to mitigate everything before it goes to court. It's going to be pre-litigation. And the idea is to have data so that the following year, we can ask the state for a housing docket or housing courts. They have it in Davidson County, and they have it in other states as well. So I've been working with Judge Henderson on that as well.
This sounds like there's a lot of work to do, and there's a lot of challenges that we need to take care of. But Erika Sugarmon, County Commissioner Erika Sugarmon, thank you so much for taking time. I know you're busy, and we look forward to seeing what Wednesday brings and even beyond that. Thank you for your time this evening. I appreciate it.
And thank you so much. All right. Anytime.
Take care. Talk to you soon. So you got a good, if you were listening, you got a good read on exactly what is happening. Erika said that on Wednesday, they are looking to vote. They are looking to vote to return Justin J. Pearson back to his seat, back to his place in the State House in Nashville. That should happen sometime Monday. They need on Wednesday, rather, excuse me. They need a majority, which is 7 votes. She feels like they have the 7 votes. So we look forward to seeing how all that unfolds as well. So very happy to have her with us. Before I go to a break, I always want to acknowledge the folks who are watching. This Facebook Live deal is starting to become, rather popular, and I really appreciate you all. I see Michael Harris, Marcella Dickerson, Sarah Gum. Hey, Sarah. My brother Michael Washington is checking in from Los Angeles, California. Also, Big Drill, Mandrill McLaughlin is checking us out as well. Let's see who else is there. Well, I had to reset this thing, but Trace Shaw, I see you as well, my friend. GKP, I see you, my friend. So listen, thank you all so much for taking the time to support the show, watch the show, check in on the show. We're going to take our final break of the hour, and when we come back, we're going to talk about those doggone pesky predatory payday lenders. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
At WYXR, we are committed to uplifting local organizations and businesses who are making an impact in Memphis. If you are looking for ways to spread the word about your business on air and want to support WYXR at the same time, email us at sponsorships@wyxr.org. WYXR is supported by Shell Days Music Festival, presented by Mempho, April 21st and 22nd at Overton Park Shell. Shell Days will feature 2 days of music with Trampled by Turtles, Southern Avenue, Leftover Salmon, Neil Francis, Paul Thorne, and Bailey Bigger. More information at memphopresents.com.
You're listening. But are you in the know? The WYXR weekly newsletter is the best source for keeping up with events at WYXR, whether they are happening on our airwaves, behind the scenes, or out in the community. Log on to newsletter.wyxr.org to sign up for our mailing list and keep yourself in the loop.
Can't find your radio? Maybe you're out of town and missing that Memphis feeling? WYXR can go with you wherever you travel with our mobile app for Android and Apple. Listen live or explore our archive and keep up to date with notifications. Download in your mobile app store by searching WYXR Radio app or visit wyxr.org for more information.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And hello, friends. Welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. And, you know, we talked about this at the very beginning of the show. One of the things that Memphis and even probably Tennessee is known for, not in a good way, is predatory payday lending. It is a huge, huge problem in our state and in our city, in our county. You know, these places that charge you, you know, for, giving you some money in advance and things. And I'm to understand up to some of them charge you up to more than 400% interest on penny loans. And so I just had to have this conversation with my next guest. He is Travis Moody, and Travis is the founder, president and CEO of Forward Memphis, and he is here to help you if you fall into that category. Travis, welcome to Real Talk. It's good to have you.
Thanks, Chip. I appreciate you having me on.
So kind of lay all this out for us, if you will, in the beginning, kind of a good definition of what this predatory payday lending situation is and why you decided it was important enough to start Forward Memphis.
Yeah, good question. So Forward Memphis, we're providing a way out for people who are in predatory lending. And what we're doing that is by money coaching. We meet with them and create a sustainable plan and provide access to up to $5,000 in emergency financial assistance. So the reason why people get in it is half of Memphis scores under 633 in their credit score. Mm-hmm. And half of Memphis has less than $400 saved for emergencies.
Oh, wow.
So if you run into that situation and then you have an emergency, you can't get a bank loan. And so you're forced into these predatory loans that are charging up to 459% interest.
And there's no regulation. Clearly, there's no regulation on this. They can charge as much as they want in terms of interest?
No, the regulation in the state of Tennessee is they can't, the limit is 459%.
Good. So they go up as high as they can, as close to that number as possible.
Because typically a credit card, you're only paying 25, 26% at the most. Mm-hmm. This is far worse than a credit card. And typically they're predatory because they're not in every community. They're not in Germantown and Collierville.
Oh, okay.
The homes are in where I grew up. They're in South Memphis and Whitehaven and Hickory Hill.
So they're targeted. They're specifically targeted to a certain population and a certain audience, is what you're saying, correct?
Yes, they're targeting people who are under financial distress.
Now let's talk about this credit rating number that you talked about, 600 or so. Now that doesn't, in terms of the world of credit, that is what, that's below good. I mean, where does that fall? Where does that fall?
Well, okay, so 633 is bad, and you can't get a loan for under 670. And good credit would be over 720. Is good credit.
Okay.
There's an organization that did this survey of all of the major cities and where they manage money, and Memphis was, out of the top 66 cities, Memphis was number 66. So we're not faring well when it comes to how we manage money.
So talk to me a little bit about Forward Memphis. How long have you all been in existence? And really, I like the fact that I saw your video, and I like the fact that you're really in business to help folks get their financial footing, get on a good track in moving forward. But tell me a little bit about the origin of your organization there.
Yeah. So, I'm originally from Memphis. This is my hometown. I'm a proud graduate of Hamilton High School here in Memphis.
All right.
But I spent most of my career in the corporate world outside of Memphis. I went to college at Georgia Tech, became an engineer, worked in the corporate world, did an MBA at Duke, and so I spent most of my time in the corporate world. And after I wrote a book, I wrote a book in 2006, really sharing our personal story, how we paid off over $100,000 in debt, and it was a personal struggle. But after I wrote that book, I really felt a calling to come back to Memphis to help other people who were struggling financially. So when people look you up or find out about you or talk to you, you're coming to them from a very genuine place. This is not something that you just kind of just dropped out of the sky. You lived this. You went through this struggle. You went through this financial issue, and you built yourself back up. How important is that to the success of what you're trying to do today? Well, it helps me to understand where people are coming from and why people make some of the decisions that they make. Mm-hmm. So when I came back here after I wrote that first book, and I left the corporate world and really just been serving through churches, nonprofits. I serve at the Life Church, and then started helping other churches, and really decided to, as I go into, especially when I go into a Black church, a church in the Black community, mm-hmm. Those churches are surrounded by these predatory loans. I don't see it when I go into a church in Collierville. And so I really just felt, man, we need to do something to help our people. And I wanted to be a part of that. So this is a nonprofit organization to help people financially.
Okay. So what are some of the biggest challenges when folks come to you for help in terms of what kind of advice you give them? What are some of the challenges that you face in terms of folks understanding what they need to do, but not necessarily wanting to do what they have to do?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question, because so when we started this thing, I went to, we shared a vision for ending predatory lending. And so we started talking to, we have partners like First Horizon, Hope Credit Union, Agape, and all of us have kind of working in this space, Rise Foundation, all of us work in that space. Mm-hmm. But we wanted to put something together to not just hand money out to people. We wanted to give it resources, but we wanted to have it where it was sustainable. So here's the biggest challenge is that, so people who meet with us and go through our process can get up to $5,000, access up to $5,000 to wipe out, to help them financially. Okay. But many people, it's not just giving them a check, it's giving them a plan. So a plan could be that they cut out cable. If you got a $180 cable bill, we may say you can't pay that. Or if you have an $800 furniture payment every month, we may say you got to get rid of that. And so that's the biggest challenge is some people, they want the freedom, but not willing to do what it takes to be free.
So you put them on a plan, and generally, is there a time frame involved in that, or does it depend on how much money they borrow, or how does that work exactly?
No, so we pretty much, we do a short-term plan. So we think of us like the emergency room. When people come to us, we want to get them back on their feet. And we have partners that can coach them long-term, but typically we're helping people we're making a decision within weeks or days.
So, so this is obviously something that is very needed, has been for a very long time. I guess I'm just struck with the notion of having to pay so much in interest, as you say, for a penny loan. But there are people in this. I mean, you grew up here. You know what Memphis and Shelby County is all about. We have a very high poverty rate here. Economics is a very major and touchy subject around here, is it not?
Yeah. So it is, and the issue, Chip, is not as much about a lack of income. It's because everyone that has a payday loan, they have a job, and the typical person who has a payday loan, their income is somewhere between $40,000 and $75,000 a year.
Really?
Right. So most of them are like there's a nurse who came to us recently that she had gotten a divorce, she had some sickness, and she earns a decent income, but now she's about to lose her home because she didn't have enough money to keep up, and so she went to a payday loan to get $1,000 because she's short. And the problem is, if you don't have that $1,000 to pay back in 2 weeks, then you have to renew it. And so now you paid another fee, and most people have a payday loan for about a year. And so if you're paying $150 every 2 weeks for a year, that's about $3,000 that you paid. And you still owe $1,000.
That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. So Travis, if folks want to contact you, and utilize your services, give them all that contact information, please, sir.
Yes, you can contact us at forwardmemphis.com. Forwardmemphis.com.
Well, listen, you have provided us with some. This is eye-opening information. In terms of this, not to a lot of people who are out there struggling and trying to make ends meet and the whole thing, but it's nice to know that there is an organization like yours that is here to truly help people. And I'm sure that you have probably a whole wall of success stories. And it's got to make you, before you get out of here, it's got to make you feel good when you do take on a new client and you do help them through a process and get them back on the right course.
Right. Yeah, so last year, we were able to work through one of our partners, Agape, and provided $84,000 to 34 families. And that helped. It's not just giving those families check, it's changing those family dynamics.
Exactly, changing their lives.
Yeah.
Well, Travis Moody, thank you, man, for coming on the show tonight and educating our audience. I really appreciate you, and you're always welcome back. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Jim.
All right, man, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that puts a wrap on the broadcast tonight. I think that in terms of our guests, sometimes they get a little tied up. And Joe Towns, of course, is busy up at the State House. But again, if you did not hear, Justin Jones was reinstated this afternoon in Nashville, so he is back in the House. Justin J. Pearson, according to our County Commissioner, Erika Sugarmon, they will vote on his reinstatement this Wednesday. So I'm sure that there will be a lot of people, as she said earlier, there'll be a big crowd of support, to enjoying him back where he belongs. We need young people to be engaged and involved in this process, this political process. The biggest problem that I see is apathy among young people. They don't think it's important to vote. They don't think their vote counts. They don't think that they can be representative. The two Justins are 27 and 28 years old. That's how old they are. They're very young, powerful, dynamic, bright futures. Everyone, if you don't take anything away from this travesty that happened last week, understand the fact that your vote does matter, your vote does count, and your vote is important. You need to go out and exercise your right to vote. If you want to change the status quo, you need to do something about that. And you have the power of the polls to be able to do it. We need voices like the two Justins in that state house to keep those boys honest. And let me tell you something. Every last one of those people on the Republican side in particular are going to be up for re-election at some point or another in their representative districts. Let this hopefully be a lesson to them that, you just can't go pushing folks around just because you feel like you can do it. Because, there's the old expression that says, if you don't pay me now, you'll pay me later. It won't always be like it is now up there. So again, we just have to keep pushing. We have to keep driving, and we have to keep supporting our young folks. Stay behind them, support them, push them. They are examples of what we need to be and what we hopefully will see in the future. Now that I'm off my soapbox for this Monday evening, thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, as Bryn plays us out, for giving us an hour of your time each and every week. It does not go unnoticed. I very much appreciate it. I truly do. We're going to continue to keep banging the drum, giving you information, and bringing the guests that you want to see. And by the way, if there's a guest that you would like to see us have on the show, or somebody that might bring positive to the program, send them our way. I'm always willing to look and see, who's out there, because there may be somebody I don't know. Once again, enjoy this week. Be safe. Be careful out there, because there's a lot of nuts running around out here, and I want you to be safe. So as we prepare to make our leave for Bryn, for Nicole, and for Lola, and even her daughter Addison, who's running around here someplace, I'm Chip. Thank you again, in all sincerity. If the Lord says so, we'll be back here same time, same station, same chair, and we'll try to do it just a little bit better. By the way, next week is Pledge Week here at WYXR. You'll hear more about that as we get closer to it. So till then, take care. Godspeed.